everyone, to episode 100 of Respawn Aim Fire, the kick-ass irreverent gaming podcast. We have turned 100 weeks old today. Is that weeks? No. More than 100 weeks. 100 episodes. We're 100 episodes, and boy, have we got more of the same for you. We did not think in advance at all. Nothing special about today. Except... we do have some special guests with us today. I'm Chad Michael Innes, your host. Across the country, we have Holden DePardo. Say au revoir.
No, I'm just going to say hi.
Tripped you up, because that was a goodbye, right? That's goodbye in French?
I have no idea.
And then also across the country, we've got...
I didn't know that, though. I just did refuse to say it, that's all.
We've got Evan. Say hi, Evan.
Hello, everybody.
And halfway in between, we've got Nick. Say hey, Nick.
Hey, what's going on?
We've got both of these guys here. This is kind of rare that we have two people from the same show on our show. So I want to give you guys an opportunity to tell us where you're from, what you're doing, your life goals, who are your friends, what did you eat today, and tell me your story.
Okay. Well, I guess, what did I eat today? That's the most important thing. Had some barbecue chicken. I mean, that's
yes!
Barbecue chicken.
Chicken breast, chicken thighs, really nuggets.
Breasts. Well, it was actually chicken barbecue, so it was like shredded up, and we had it on some rolls, made some chicken barbecue sandwiches. It's good stuff. I'm Evan. I currently reside in the Hampton Roads area of Virginia. I work in the IT field, and currently one of the hosts of the Fresh Takes Gaming podcast with my lovely co-host, Nick, over here. I am a dad and a father. No, a dad and a husband.
I was going to say.
Dad and a father.
Same thing.
Dad and a father.
Oh, my
yes.
God.
Multiple families. One's dad, one I'm father.
That's right.
I take care of my spawn. Okay, got it.
But yes, I'm a husband and a father to a, what I'm calling now, a soon-to-be three-nager. So life is,
That's awesome.
Man, it is rough. It is a rough go right now. But yeah, it's all good, man. Yeah, been gaming since probably 6 or 7 years old. Started on the NES, technically. So, yeah, that's me.
Now, 6 or 7 years old, gaming on the NES, I assume that just means you found the NES in like a box in 2004 and started playing it at age 7. Is that correct?
That's incorrect. I'm an old dude, man. I'm an old dude. I got it under the Christmas tree one year for me.
Yeah.
When I was 6 or 7, yeah.
God.
Great. Nick, tell us about yourself. What did you eat
Yeah,
today?
now
Who are
I feel really old now. Yeah, so I ate some Fruit Loops. I cooked.
I feel so old I had Fruit Loops.
Yeah, I have Fruit Loops. Well, that was while I was cooking French toast for my kids. I'm dad of 2 little spawn that I made that I claim. And then there's my wife. I've been married for 13 years. We live in a lovely state of Wisconsin. I currently work in the logistics field, and what that means, it's a fancy way of saying I figure out how to get stuff, whether that's people or things, from point A to point B in huge quantities, and it sucks, and I am ready for a change.
Huge quantities of people from part A to part B. That's human trafficking.
Well, not in a bad way. Not in a bad way.
Logistics is just a fun euphemism for it.
Yes. It's a better way to say it. It reads better. And then, let's see.
Officer, it's logistics. It's really not trafficking, I promise.
Yes, they don't have documentation, but that doesn't count.
That's what R. Kelly was involved in, right? Logistics?
That's exactly what it was. And entertainment and logistics. That's what he was doing.
Yeah, that sounds right.
But yeah, that's kind of about it. I am going to wait on my brisket for St. Patty's Day after this, and I am hoping that it doesn't taste like ass. So aside from that, that's about me. I guess I've been gaming since NES, Atari, ColecoVision way back. I'm an old boy. I was born in 79, so... Street Fighter 2 is probably hands down one of my favorite games ever. Ken is awesome. Ryu sucks.
We laid that to rest, man. You can't bring that up.
We didn't. That'll never go away. That'll never go away.
We battled it out.
We did, and you cheated, but it's cool. And
It wasn't
that's about it.
That's about it. I have footage of this combo I pulled on you, man.
It was good. It was a good combo. It was some bullshit.
Did you guys see, there was something going around the internet the last week. There's a couple of people who were fighting and they were both Ryu, and it was Street Fighter V, I think, and they were just fighting, and they were like mirror imaging the same things at a competition.
No, I didn't catch that.
I haven't seen
And
that
it was
one.
just
The one-
like literally the same moves back, and they're just like hitting each other, not doing any damage. And then one guy like beats the other one into just a fraction of health, and then the other one comes back and starts beating the other one, and then they double KO each other at the same time.
That is sick.
Wow, that's
was
crazy.
awesome.
Was that at Evo or?
I don't know. I just watched a video that was on Twitter.
Hey,
And that was it.
that's where all the good videos
So it
drop.
wasn't at Evo. It was at Twitter. They were competing on Twitter.
All events happen on Twitter.
Yes.
That's very true.
Well, thank you guys for being here and joining us today. It's kind of a slow news week, and we're going to have some fun, but it'll be a little short. As you guys might have heard from their descriptions, today is St. Paddy's Day for us, although from what I can tell, looking at the video, none of us are wasted right now.
No.
Holden's very tired, and he's
I'm
very
extremely
grumpy. He's got a little
really
sand in
grumpy
his vagina,
today.
as Cartman would say.
I'm wasted on skinny lattes right now.
Yes! I've got some aguas frescas. That's Spanish for fresh
you go.
water.
I mean, I could go get some whiskey and just start right now. And
Oh, I
we'll
don't.
do
do it.
like tequila. We'll do like
Double
tequila
bubble,
every
man.
10 minutes.
Get hot.
Oh my god.
But we're going to jump in today and start with playtime. We don't normally start here. We usually start with something news related, but there's just so little news that we're gonna hold that off. So playtime is where we talk about what we played this week, and I don't want to start, so I'm going to have Holden start so we can all laugh at him.
Yeah, I didn't play anything this week. But you didn't last
idiot.
week either, Chad. I had family in town this week, spending that time with them, and then Friday, Arrested Development Season 5
I was about to
Part
say,
2
yeah,
came
why did
out,
you really not play anything?
and oh man. Do you guys watch Arrested Development?
I used
fell
to back
off
in
of
the
it.
day. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I fell off
Never-
of it.
Never. When did you fall off?
Probably after second season.
Oh, okay.
It was
Okay.
season
Yeah.
2, episode 10, about 13 minutes into it in 12 seconds.
There you go.
I know that part. I understand. That makes sense.
I can relate.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, people who do listen to the show that aren't present with me right now, talking to me right now, I thought it ended very well. It feels like a good definitive ending for the show. If you were down on kind of the newer episodes, Arrested Development, I think it's worth checking out. I actually liked how it ended. So,
And he watched it literally twice in one day.
actually,
the
I
first day.
watched it 1.5 times. I didn't finish it the second time. I got tired and I fell asleep.
The whole season?
all 8
Finished the whole
episodes.
season? Oh my god.
Well,
It's 8
generally it's only
episodes.
half a season.
I'm
It was
calling
half a
bullshit
season.
on you spending time with family. If you were watching that the whole time.
No. That was Friday.
Oh,
So,
okay.
yeah. But no, it was only 8 episodes, but I love that show. It's a great show.
It is.
I'll have to get back into
That's
it.
what I played this week. So I just wanted to share that.
Played time management
awesome.
with Netflix. And
There you
I
Yes.
played the time management game very
Logistics.
well. That's why I'm so tired. I'm not a horrible person. I'm not involved in logistics, okay?
Ow!
Evan, what did you play this week?
I'm like ADHD with video games. I kind of ping pong all over the place. I completed the story of Anthem today.
All right.
Yes.
Can you
Nice.
call it a story? That's the biggest question on everyone's mind. Can you call it a story?
Yes. Yes.
God, that was like
You
waiting.
really had to think about that.
Well, see, because I'm trying to divide the line between story and lore, right? So,
Okay.
Destiny's full
Okay.
of lore, no story. But Anthem
Yeah.
sounds like it might have a story.
Anthem, but yeah, it's very typical sci-fi tropey kind of story, but it is what it is. Leaves you no spoilers here, but there's a cliffhanger ending where they're like, oh, we could expand, leave room to expand the story.
Right.
Other than that, played some Ring of Elysium,
What is that?
which
Never heard of that.
DS
PC.
Claw, they're gonna get me started, man. It's PC
Is
Master
this a
Race.
continuation of Elysium, the Neil Blomkamp movie? That
Yeah,
wasn't
with
that
Matt
good?
Damon.
No. Oh,
Matt
God,
Damon.
no.
Matt Damon.
It's a battle royale developed by Tencent.
Okay,
Oh, okay.
we know all those.
Yeah. So basically, it's the better version, in my mind, of PUBG. It's not as sweaty as PUBG, but there's no building like Fortnite. It's kind of like the happy middle ground that I found.
Okay.
And it doesn't get a lot of cred, unfortunately. It just doesn't get a lot of credibility, but it's a good game.
Ring of Elysium, that's the name of it?
Yes. Yep. It's a really good BR game. Looks
All right.
beautiful, nice weather effects, but then
What consoles is it on?
PC.
PC? Okay.
Yeah. PC
And you
only.
called PUBG sweaty. I've never heard anyone refer to a game like that. What does that mean?
There's just so much perspiration. It's just
so much perspiration. Like as soon as you drop it, it's like palms start sweating. It's just like real. You're on your edge the whole time. It's
Okay.
I guess that's the best way to put it. Sweaty.
All right.
Yeah, palm sweaty.
it's
palm
tense. Yeah,
spaghetti.
it's a tense
Vomit
experience.
on the sweater already.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Boom. Yeah.
But and then
Have
I
you
tried
seen the remix of that where it's just mom spaghetti over and over? Everything is mom spaghetti. It's so good.
I'll have to look that up. And then I tried out a game called God Eater 3.
I've heard of God
Ooh,
Eater.
I've seen a lot of box art for that.
Yeah.
But I've
I've
never
seen that in
actually
a store.
clicked through.
I played about 90 minutes of it, and I probably won't be back to it. Just
Okay.
Not great.
Because visually beautiful, gameplay mechanics cool. Finds like a Monster Hunter type of deal, but the dialogue, I just couldn't
that's
get
important.
past it. Yeah.
Yeah. Is that kind of like over exposition heavy? Kind of like the kind of dialogue you see in like JRPGs a lot, or just over exposition heavy?
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
way too much explanation. Therefore, the scene's like 10 minutes long and needed to be
Yep.
two.
Like I'm
Yep.
like I
Yeah,
got to a
I
point.
hear you.
I'm just hitting B to skip through like,
Yeah.
the
Yep.
subtitles of the dialogue. I'm just like no. So, but yeah, that's what I've been playing.
Nice. We're going to kick it on over to Basketball. Sorry. Halfway through that, I was like, remember that JT sketch from SNL?
No.
You don't? He's like
No,
dressed
I
up
don't.
like the Biscuit Bill guy's like, coming on down to Basketball. Justin Timberlake, you don't remember that? Okay.
Nope.
Nope.
I'm sorry.
Right.
Good segue, though. Let's go.
Yeah, solid.
Let's talk
solid.
to Nick now.
Nick, what did you play this week?
Well, I actually worked a lot. I was out of town, so I wasn't able to play anything. So I binged watched Umbrella Academy.
Yes.
Finally,
Okay.
finally finished Breaking Bad. It's been years.
Yes.
Like I've been on the last
Yes.
4 episodes of that.
You've
So,
had a good week.
It was okay. It was all right. And then yesterday I went to the hospital because I pulled my groin. And no, it wasn't due to masturbation. So it wasn't even fun.
Yeah.
That is one way of pulling your groin.
So I've just kind of been hanging out. I've been chilling with the kid playing Terraria. He's like addicted to that, like crack. So I've been getting schooled by a 6-year-old on how to play the game. Fantastic.
Nice. Did you know, though, that even while you're on the road or working, you can still play your PlayStation 4 via the beauty of remote play on iOS and Android?
Segue.
wow.
That's what I did. I played a little bit of DMC this week via remote play. No, I literally played like 4 seconds of it just in the void little practice area to see how it worked. And it was okay. You can do it.
DMC 5 or
DMC 5, yep.
Well, this is also, you said, I think last week you said that you can always use touch controls. You cannot use a controller if you use
I don't
it on an iPhone?
have a third-party Bluetooth iOS controller, so I
Okay.
don't know if that's an option, but you definitely cannot use the DualShock. But even the touch controls weren't too bad, actually. Like, I was just messing around, and it was like, if for some reason I, like heroin, needed to play Devil May Cry 5, I could probably do it, but
Yeah. I yanked the headphone cable out, so I missed everything you just said. But yeah, that's a good
it's
point.
all right. It's not important to you. Caveat there, it worked well in my apartment on the same Wi-Fi network. It did not have a fast enough internet connection at work to function.
Okay.
There we go. You'll use the second word there. But the game, Devil May Cry 5, fucking the coolest game I have ever played. It is the definition of cool. The environments, the bad guys, as our
Is this just like an in the moment thing, or is it really the coolest game?
Yeah,
No,
you've
it
ever played?
it's
really
like,
is
yeah.
the coolest game.
Okay.
The characters are so cool. You're like, I just want to fucking be that person. And then it's like overly hyped entrances of characters. Like, you're like, hey, I need to get some upgrades in the middle of my mission. You go to a phone and you're like, boop, hey, I need you. And instead of like someone coming up or a van pulling up, van fucking busts out of the ground and the earth or like crashes through the wall of the building and like bounces on the ground. It's like, hey, I'm here. What do you need? Just such cool shit just literally for the sake of looking cool. It's so impractical. But it is the coolest game I've ever played. And it is fucking gorgeous, you guys. It's on the same RE engine that Resident Evil 2 and Resident Evil 7 was on. And you would think,
Okay.
oh, those are really slow zombies and not a whole lot is happening from moment to moment. So obviously this engine would suffer when you have lots of enemies on the screen and you're doing crazy stylish combos. And it doesn't. It doesn't fall apart. And it's so fucking cool. So I took a lot of screenshots. Holden has all of them in our traditional fashion.
That's awesome.
All of them.
I'm maybe a third. There are 20 chapters in the game, and I'm in the start of chapter 7.
Gotcha.
But I've played as Nero, which is the guy they introduced in Devil May Cry 4.
Yep.
That's the only
has
Devil
the
May Cry
double
I've
trigger.
played.
That
Yeah.
has the double trigger arm. Okay.
Yeah,
I
and in this
played the
one,
demo,
there's a ton of
but
options.
months ago.
Yeah, there's a free demo out for it too. If you
Yeah,
guys are interested
yeah.
in
I
like, what
played
it
the
looks
demo
like,
like a month or so ago. It was good. I mean, I enjoyed it. I just hadn't picked up the game yet.
Yeah, it's great. And then I also played as V. There's a new character V, who instead
That's the
of
one with
fighting,
the cane, right?
Yeah, it kind of like Kylo Ren looking fuck with the cane.
He said it interesting. You're more controlling demons and like having them attack enemies.
Yes. So instead of having like with Nero, you attack with your sword as your strong attack. Instead of that,
Right.
he has a panther that he summons, a little shadow panther, and he's your strong attack. And then with Nero, you have a ranged gun, and then with V, instead of having a gun, you have this bird this griffin that flies around, and he shoots lightning and shit like that. He's your ranged attack. And then they weaken all the enemies, and then you hit O and you like teleport to them and banish them for good. And then you also have this like giant golem that you can summon throughout as well. That's pretty
That
awesome.
sounds pretty badass.
Yeah, and you can even get a skill to let you ride the
Yeah,
golem
it sounds
control.
sounds
So
worth
cool.
looking into at the very least.
Yeah. I am not a Devil May Cry fan usually. I've played number 4 and I had a good time with it, and I haven't played any of the rest. But this is legit. It might just be like I'm in that honeymoon phase with it, but it maybe in my top 10 games of the generation.
You're 7/20ths to the game right now, Chad.
You're right. I'm 7/20ths. But have you played the demo, Holden? I told you there's a
No,
free
I
demo.
haven't.
You
Yeah, I
should
haven't
download
played
it.
it.
It is so fucking fun.
It's a good demo.
fun.
I'll try it out. I've never been huge on action games before, unless like at Dark Souls, where I have like a stamina to kind of think about. I don't know, like kind of just like the combos and just like slashing things up. Like God of War never really liked that so much, but I did like the new God of War game, and that's less like the old ones. I feel like this is Devil May Cry 5 is more like the old God of War games. I feel in terms of how it's an action game, more so than the new God of War game is. Am I making any sense right now?
Yeah,
Yep.
I'm tracking. I'm with
Yeah.
you.
Okay. So I might, because I feel like that's a good like door into action games for me, coming from God of War. But I just don't know if I want to do it. I think you might have to force me to play this one with your yearly.
I might. If I get to the very end, we've agreed one game throughout the year we're allowed to make the other person play.
Ooh,
Oh,
I like
I
that.
like that.
That's
I
If I
like
get to
that.
the end of this game and I like it, it's like, Holden, you have to play this game.
Okay. I like that idea.
Yeah, I feel like I need to understand action games better. So it might be a good way of doing it. But there's so many games I have to play already that there's just so many games I have to play. Like Sekiro comes out in not even a
Sekiro
week.
comes out in a fucking 5 days.
This was gonna happen,
God.
Chad. This
I've
was
said
gonna happen.
the
Chad. I'm
word
gonna print it right
fucking
now.
a lot on this podcast.
Unless you finish DMC 5 by Friday when
Oh, I
Sekiro
probably
comes
will.
out. Okay, if you don't though, you'll never finish that game
today. You don't know that.
because Sekiro will come
Dark
out.
Souls
You don't know
3.
me.
This is true. You didn't finish Dark Souls 3 because you made it to the final boss, then stopped. You need to get
Yep.
back on that.
That's
You
right.
need to
That's
get back
better
on
than me. I think I took out
Shoot.
the Guardians of the Abyss or whatever it is.
Oh,
And
those
then I
guys are
got-
hard.
And then I got lost, and I said, "Fuck this game," and never went back.
So that's further than I got in Dark Souls 1, where I bought it. That's as far as I got.
Yeah,
Nice.
unfortunately, I have to say the same thing. I bought it and I haven't finished it. Not even close. I actually just restarted it this week. I played 5 minutes of it, and then no, I can't right now. So technically, I did play something this week. 5 minutes of Dark Souls.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's about as much as I got in the first Dark Souls. I was like, oh, sat at a fire. Good game.
Fire looks great. Well, nothing else can top that. I'm out.
Yeah.
Clearly, we've peaked. I played 2 other things. One, Borderlands 2 VR got support for the PlayStation Aim controller. So I was like, all right, I want to try this out again. I played it with the DualShock, and I was like, this is a fun way to play it. And I played it with the Move controllers, and I was like, this is the less ideal way to play it. And then I played it with the Aim control, and that is the definitive way to play Borderlands 2 in VR. So much so that the other 2 times that I played, I was like, this is great, but I probably won't continue. And then this one, in my head, I'm conflicted. Like, do I actually want to commit to playing this all the way through again for like the 5th time as well? Or do I just play around a little bit and leave it as like a tech demo?
That Borderlands 3 game is obviously going to be sooner rather than later.
So obvious with all the teases on Twitter.
Obvious.
Yep, they're going to drop it.
So I kind of, if that does get announced, that then makes me want to go back and play Borderlands 2 again. And I might have to.
Right.
But if you have Borderlands 2 VR, check out the PS Aim controller because it's awesome. And then your boy got the platinum trophy in Beat Saber.
Oh shit! Oh shit!
Damn!
I am so fucking good at this game. I mostly just want this to be a brag section. They released.
No, he deserves to. He totally deserves to.
They released a new music pack for Beat Saber this week. Monster Cat something or other. And it's 10 new songs. And right off the bat, I just jumped in on expert mode. I was like, all right, I'm coming back to Beat Saber. I haven't played it in a couple of weeks. We'll see how good I still am. Every single song, first playthrough, A. Boom.
Damn.
Got an A. Second playthrough, every single song, got at least an S. 2 songs, got a double S.
Ooh.
1 song, I am number 10 in the world at that song right now.
Damn.
Dear God, man.
Boom.
10 in the world.
Just about every week, Chad claims to have played about a full day's worth of Beat Saber in terms of play hours.
I had to play.
You play a lot
to
of
get
Beat
the
Saber.
platinum trophy. The only 2 trophies I had remaining were earn 1,000,000 points and play for 24 hours cumulative. It doesn't have to be all at one time. So
Within a week period.
Right. So I had to play 7 hours of Beat Saber in the last 4 days, and it was so worth it. I was so sweaty. My PSVR is so disgusting and like peeling and falling apart because of all the sweat. But goddamn, I'm so happy. I have the platinum trophy now, and now that I have all the trophies, I can actually start going to like Expert Plus and not feeling guilty about sucking at that while I learn it, because I'm like, oh, I'm not earning enough points to contribute to the trophy or all this shit. Now I've got it.
Man,
pressure's off.
Congrats on that, man.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I've seen people play that game, and
man.
I don't think I could do it. I think I'd end up hanging myself
so
with the controllers.
There's a whole Reddit thread dedicated to Beat Saber injuries. It's amazing. This one guy's like, I've got tendonitis in my bicep now. Apparently, like, people are talking about anti-fatigue mats and stuff like that they're putting in their gaming rooms.
It's the evolution of Wii elbow.
Yeah,
That's right.
Exactly. Yeah.
I do CrossFit as well, and there was a big CrossFit workout this week that everyone in the world did that was involving a lot of lifting weights overhead and then swinging from a pull-up bar. So my arms were already toast from all of that, and I came home and I was like, hey, let's play 2 more hours of Beat Saber right after this. And my shoulders almost separated from my body. It was awful.
Oh, my God.
So I definitely get that.
Yeah.
And then the last thing I'll say about Beat Saber is that it is now officially my favorite VR game, and it is absolutely on my top 10 list of favorite games of all time. It's just so fucking good.
Have you ever played Ghost Giant since you're a PS dude?
I have never heard of Ghost Giant.
Check it out if you're in a VR. It's the one that's making me want to buy PSVR.
Ghost Giant.
See, the thing about PSVR, I have to have a PS4 first.
Yes.
You do.
Yes.
So
That's not true.
investment for me.
That's not true. You can actually still buy the PSVR on its own.
And I'll just sit there.
There's just nothing you can use it for.
Yeah,
so.
that's very true. Very true.
This game looks adorable. Why have I never heard of it?
I don't know.
E3 2018 reveal trailer. Maybe I did see it and then I blocked it out of my memory.
Blocked memory. Oh, it was a traumatic experience. You had to block it.
That's it. So that's all I played this week, and that's all everybody played this week, and we're going to move on to our quest log. Starting out with some fetch quests, which are mostly just headlines, and there's not much else to discuss around them, but we're going to talk about them anyway. Speaking of PSVR, there is a patent that suggests that PlayStation VR 2 will be wireless. This comes from Cameron Corliss from Game Rant. And my only response to this is, yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it should be at this point. The next iteration should be, right?
I mean, Vive is that way
hope
now.
so.
Yep.
Oculus has theirs.
Yep. Oculus Go's are.
That's the next step.
Yeah.
It's a little bit different, though. I'd be concerned about, like, how many hours straight have you played Beat Saber before, Chad?
Hours straight?
Yeah.
3?
3, yeah. No VR headset in the market would last that long in wireless mode.
You don't
The
think
Go-
so? I mean,
no.
I assume you would have to be able to
2
watch
and a
a
half
whole
for the
movie
Go.
in it.
The Go is only 2.5 hours. I can't imagine that the Vive is going to be much better than that, considering what that's processing instead. So I don't really know.
It's all right.
But we'll have to see.
Should I have played for 3 hours? Absolutely not. there were that was today. I was playing for 3 hours today, and I was like, I'm 3 hours away from the trophy, so I got to play it all in once. But halfway through, I was definitely like, my arms are dead. I'm so tired. I've got to eat food, but also I'm so close to this trophy. So maybe it's a good thing that the battery dies.
Yeah. But anyway, wireless VR is ideal, but just battery life, I think, is a concern. So we'll see how that plays out. It's probably
but if
at least
wireless electricity becomes a thing at the same time.
true that.
No,
Absolutely.
True wireless charging from across the room. Boom.
I mean,
Science.
Tesla did invent wireless charging already. He did do that.
There you go.
It's a thing.
It is a
So
thing.
just park your Tesla in your
Just
living
don't
room.
walk in between its charging and without putting.
Yeah, I'm like, weird. Just stepping
gonna be
closer,
bad,
closer to ball cancer.
So when you're in VR and you can clearly see that electrical flow,
Yeah.
it's gonna be fine.
Yeah. Now,
Yeah.
do you think this will be if this? I mean, this makes sense. They're going to come out with this. Do you think it'll be introduced with PS5, the next generation console? Or do you think it's going to be something still?
Yeah, I
honestly-
think that they have got as much as they possibly can power-wise. I mean, with the PS4 Pro plus the breakout box plus all the sensors on the headset, like they are pushing. That thing sounds like a jet engine while I'm using it.
I'm actually curious how it's going to play out. Are they going to show off the PS5 and then say PSVR works with PS5, and then later on in a separate announcement show PSVR 2 to kind of give it its, because they say that PSVR is its own kind of platform.
Yeah.
So they want to have two platforms being discussed simultaneously. They might, but they might not. So I actually
also,
have no idea.
if you release them both at the same time, that's like $1,000 that you're wanting people to spend at once.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
True.
So
Next
we'll see.
up, Left
But it
4
makes
Dead
sense because there's all the
Studio.
the silicone apparently in PS5 is tailored for PSVR 2. So maybe they want to highlight that at the launch as well. So
I'm gonna whisper this so that you don't get embarrassed. Silicone is for breast implants.
I always do this.
Silicon.
Silicon. I always do this.
It's all right. No one else knows.
Like Ubisoft, I'll get it eventually.
Ubiquitous software.
I called it Ubisoft for the longest time.
I still do that
Ubisoft.
sometimes, man.
Yeah.
It just
And I think I still might call it silicon. I'm going to call it silicon from now on. Silicon.
Just make it a schwa. Take the vowel out completely. And
I'm just going to shut up. I'll practice on my own in front of a mirror many times. That's what's going to happen. Chad,
Next
here's
up.
5 audio recordings of me saying the word.
and I'll just
Tell me
dub
which
in
one
whichever one
sounds the
sounds
best.
best.
Like Siri, when you mispronounce something for Siri, and she's like, which one of these sounds the best? Anyway, go ahead.
Left 4 Dead studio Turtle Rock announces zombie shooter Back 4 Blood with the number 4, which is not a battle royale. It comes from Chris Carter at Destructoid. This is the first thing we've seen from Turtle Rock since they did Evolve, and then they also previously did Left 4 Dead series for Valve, and what did they do right before that? Something important.
Probably
Anyway.
Ocarina of Time or something like that. It was
That
definitely Ocarina
sounds
of
right.
Time. Yeah.
Yeah, Valve
Or
released
Mario
Ocarina
64.
of Time.
Yeah.
I assume that it is going to be a zombie game, has going to PvP as well as campaign, not battle royale, and yeah, I assume it's going to be kind of in that same style based on just the fact that it's zombies and it has the number 4 in the title.
Yeah. They said there's going to be a lot new in it, so it's not just a continuation. It's not Left 4 Dead 3, but yeah, we'll see.
Dope.
I'm down.
Yeah, I mean,
Hold on, I'm going to let you take
game
this
for it.
last one because I don't give any shits about it. So I'm going to let someone who does like it talk.
You just broke Nick's heart.
So No Man's Sky is going to have an update coming out in the summer. It's going to be called Beyond. And it's going to be apparently 3 updates they wanted to do, but they said, hey, we'll just package them together as one, release it all in the summer. And we know one of those is going to be something called No Man's Sky Online. We don't know what the other 2 are. They've teased them. They've said there's going to be 3. I think someone was saying that there's a chance it could be VR, but I think that's just speculation. I think they've already said they're not going to do VR, but that was a few years ago. So I don't know what's going to happen there. But I just want more content in that game in terms of like story stuff, and I'll return to it again. That's
Nick,
all.
do you like No Man's Sky?
I do actually. I am a huge fan of the game. I love I love what they did as far as turning that entire train wreck around. I think that a lot of
I
think a
absolutely
lot of
respect the
developers
hell
can
out
learn
of
a
it for
lot from what they did and how they handled that situation, because it was a fucking
Mm-hmm.
disaster. And then
They're also a small studio. They had every right to
it was
just drop
tiny.
it.
Yep. Yeah, and the dude and their front man was just stacking up the failure for him. Like everywhere he went, he just kept stacking it up, and it was like, you were such a dick. I'd have kicked his ass in the fucking parking lot. I could have been like, all right, man, I told you last time, don't say that shit again. And there you were in that damn interview saying it. Now I got to put hands on you.
You know, what's
But,
funny is I don't think he's
it's
been
good.
interviewed once since that game came out.
No, he hit,
Sean Murray?
man. He hit.
Yeah,
I
Sean
don't
Murray,
blame
yeah.
him.
No, I don't blame him either. Makes sense.
Didn't they also have, I don't know whether this was prior to or after the launch of it, didn't they also have like a giant flood that destroyed a lot of their equipment and stuff too?
Oh, I don't know.
I don't
It's
know
Hello
about
Games,
that.
right? That's
Yep.
who
Yeah,
it
Hello
is?
Games, yeah.
Yep.
I feel like that sounds right. I'm now saying it's fact. Boom.
Prove me wrong.
So good for them for overcoming that flood,
Yes.
Yeah, good on him.
whether or not it happened.
Either way, they got a flood of
it's the
bad press
internet.
after that game
Oh,
came out.
yeah.
So there was a
Oh,
flood
good
that
pun.
they survived either way.
Yep.
So we're not wrong.
Good pun.
We just don't understand.
Moving on to our Microsoft Quest log. Microsoft had an Inside Xbox this month, and we've got some news that came from that. First is Microsoft bringing Xbox Live to iOS and Android, enhancing its game creation ecosystem for all devs. Now, I'm going to start by saying I think we, as an industry, completely overhyped what we thought all of this was going to be. Technically, they do still have something to reveal at GDC this week, but it turns out that this is just an SDK to bring Xbox Live features to mobile. So you can have your achievements come over, your gamer score, all of that fun stuff, your friends list, family settings, all that kind of fun stuff. Similar to what they already do with games like Wordament on iOS, where you can earn achievements and stuff like that. But those were all published by Microsoft. This allows anyone to have those same things brought in. They also at the same time announced Microsoft Game Stack, which is further support for developers through the development process to create one end-to-end developer-friendly ecosystem. I think I mentioned that this is exactly what I thought this announcement was going to be. I was like, oh yeah, this is going to be similar to Epic's tools to help for like cross-progression and cross-play. I thought cross-progression was going to be part of this, but it seems like maybe not. Even though that could be part of Xbox Live.
We were pretty skeptical from the beginning on the multiplayer front because they not every publication, but so many publications were saying Xbox Live multiplayer is coming everywhere, and then they would quote a block of text from the schedule at GDC, none of which said multiplayers. Like I don't know where that was coming from,
Hashtag
but
hopeful.
exactly. But this makes a ton of sense. It gets people going, oh, I already have a gamer score, so I'll get an Xbox.
Absolutely.
Makes sense.
Yeah, it totally makes sense. Totally makes
Something
sense.
else they announced at the same time was that they don't have anything to announce as far as Switch goes currently.
Yeah.
Everyone thought this was all going to come at once because I think the GDC...
It did say Switch.
Thing, like the title of it is like Xbox Live on iOS and Switch and all this goddamn shit.
Yeah.
But
Yep. That's yeah, I don't know. I just like Phil Spencer, man.
me too.
So I
Me
like that
too.
guy.
I want him to win.
And I think
he's winning so many
exactly.
things.
Yep.
Yeah, it totally is.
You guys
Wait,
actually,
I mean, it's-
you do your show on Mixer, right?
Yes.
Yep.
So you guys
Yes.
bought hardcore into that Microsoft ecosystem.
Oh.
Microsoft Water Bottle,
Water
nice.
bottle, there it is.
Yeah, I've got my own
There you
Siri
go.
one.
There you go. There you go. Yeah, I mean, it's been discussed, all over the industry. Like Microsoft is definitely making moves to be the most consumer-centric of the software/platform companies out there, at least in my opinion, based on
Absolutely.
stuff Phil's doing, the Game Pass stuff, the adaptive controller stuff, now with the SDKs for mobile and possibly going to Switch. So I'm on board, man. I'm on board.
I absolutely love what they're doing, and I hope that pushes the other companies to kind of follow suit too. Speaking of being pro-consumer, Halo: The Master Chief Collection is coming to PC and
Yes.
Steam.
Yes.
This is the first time that a Halo game, the game you associate with Xbox, has been available on Steam. We've had Halo and Halo 2 on PC before, downloadable through the Microsoft Store, but they are now giving that to a third party, which is dope.
It's amazing.
So Master Chief Collection is coming out, including Halo Reach. If you buy it new on PC, I think.
Yes, I believe that's right. Yep.
And it's launching on PC staggered as well. Like Halo Reach is what you get first, and they're kind of rolling out.
Yeah, they're doing
games.
a chronological release of it based on the Halo universe.
Gotcha.
If you will.
If you are playing on Xbox One and you already own the game, Halo Reach is an added DLC. You will get some multiplayer maps for free, but then some modes and the campaign are extra. And then if you're playing on Xbox Game Pass, it's all good.
It's all good.
Yep.
Best $10 you can spend per month.
Fact.
Yep. I think that's huge. Like, them finally releasing a Microsoft published game on Steam. That's awesome.
Yeah. Well, again, going back to what you said, they want to be ubiquitous, right, with gaming. So go where the people are on whatever that platform is. Most of the PC gamers are on Steam. That's the largest software distribution platform that's for gamers on that ecosystem. So smart move. I think it's just business.
I'm just excited
Smart
to
business.
see Master Chief as a part of the Smash Brothers lineup. That's what I really want to see. That's when I'll know it's really taken
I want
off.
that so bad.
100% think that could actually happen. I think that's so close to happening.
And then
Speaking
his,
of more Halo.
shadow character could be Cortana.
There you go.
Holy shit. No, that sounds great.
Yeah.
Or what if Cortana's like an echo character of Zero Suit
Echo.
Samus?
Oh, there you go.
That'd be pretty
There
hot.
you go.
There you go.
Yeah.
I like it.
More Halo news. Apparently, they are sending way too much pizza to 343 Industries after Master Chief Collection PC announcement. This is from Colin Stevens at IGN. There was a Reddit user who apparently posted, hey, if Halo gets announced for PC, I'll send the first 343 Studios person who responds to this thread pizza. And then it got announced for PC, and so many other people joined in and keep sending pizza and pizza and pizza. And they're like, guys, like it's becoming a logistics issue. All this food is going to go to waste. Please stop sending us pizzas. Thank you. But stop sending us pizzas.
It's a good problem to have, though. I mean,
Yeah.
Pizza.
It's nice to see appreciation like this, though, in the community.
it is. It really is.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then 343 responding back was also really good too. They gave basically it's called a last slice skin, which is a skin for your gun that's basically makes it look like pepperoni pizza.
Oh, wow.
I didn't know about that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
There is
Something
one
like
more
that.
thing, since we have so few news stories to talk about today. There's one more thing that came out of that Xbox, inside Xbox, was the first demo of Project xCloud. Did you guys watch this at all?
No.
I caught the
didn't see
clip
that
of it. Yeah, they brought the control out on stage to whatever her name is. I can't remember her name. The British
Okay,
chick
neither.
with blonde hair.
Right, yeah.
That's actually her first and last name.
Yes, the British chick with blonde
The
hair.
British chick
and,
and the last time with blonde hair.
with blonde hair.
Well, there's a middle name as well, but you know what I mean. It's her full
Yeah,
name.
totally. And yeah, it was a Forza 4. I believe
Yeah.
they had on Android.
Great
Device.
choice of game. Doesn't require a whole lot of button input, as long as you hold a trigger and occasionally move the thumbstick. And that's all she did.
I mean, that was basically it. It was it's maybe just some folks are like, oh wow, that's awesome, whatever. Like, but if you really to the more trained eye,
Really important question here. Was the streaming able to show off all the seasons? Because the seasons change everything.
Seasons are everything in that game.
They're everything in that game.
There was one season.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
So they were in California then, just the one season? Is that where they were?
Yeah, that sounds right. You probably could. She could have been watching a YouTube video with an Xbox controller in front of her, and you probably would have had the same exact.
That would have been hysterical if annotations started coming up and all that.
Random ad just pops up for like Rogaine or something.
Skip survey.
Yeah, exactly.
Button shows up at the bottom.
Yeah, buy
So-
IGN merchandise at.
The video quality was impressive. They showed off, I guess, the prototype of the clip that holds your phone on the Xbox controller, which is cool. It could end up being really cool. I'm not quite sure how it's going to perform lag-wise, though. I think they chose that game very much on purpose, and she did not do well. She crashed after turning, the first turn.
Cool. That's a good
Yeah.
sign.
Well, if it's anything like so, this is not even. It kind of works. It kind of fits in with this streaming technology, right? Mm-hmm. Steam did an update to their Steam Link software, which allows you to stream kind of like the PlayStation version on the same Wi-Fi network. You can do that. Well, now it's Steam Link Anywhere, so you can stream from your PC at home to your device, phone, tablet, whatever, on any network. As long as the connection's good. And I actually tested it. I was playing Firewatch on my phone at work on my LTE connection.
That's awesome.
It was very minimal latency. So I was kind of impressed with that. So Microsoft has a lot of money. I'm pretty confident their
infrastructure is really, really strong. I mean, the three companies that have the best internet infrastructure are Google, Amazon, and Microsoft. Those are the three companies that could potentially own video streaming. Google's going into it. Microsoft's going into it. I think Amazon was rumored to be going into it.
Amazon's rumored, yeah.
Yep. So,
they've had their gaming division for a while. But
they have. Oh, that's right. And we went to their website, and it basically blatantly said, we want to do game streaming at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There is
Without
also,
saying it outright.
On that same idea of Steam Link, Microsoft also announced that you can now stream your PC games to your Xbox.
Yeah, they did. I haven't tested that yet, but I'm
anecdotally, apparently,
which is a hit
terrible.
Well, so now it's not a hit to Steam.
Terrible. Like things like there is no keyboard support, virtual or physical. So as long as you don't have to type anything, you're good. But it's a PC, so.
Oops.
And apparently it just does not run well. Or if you
so there's not even the option to use the D-pad on your Xbox controller to use the virtual keyboard. You can't even do that.
There's no virtual keyboard.
There's no.
Oh my god.
That's impressive.
But I mean, it's intended specifically
that's not
for
impressive.
gaming.
That's depressing.
No, that's an impressive oversight. That's
yes, an impressive oversight. Yeah.
Damn.
But apparently it takes. It's a big pain in the ass to get it set up and actually running, and then when you do, it doesn't function well.
This all means that we all hate Phil Spencer now, right? We have to switch sides.
It
Screw
just
that
means
guy.
They need Nick in logistics to make sure these things don't happen.
He's got so much manpower with all that logistics.
Yep.
All right. Well, that wraps up our Microsoft news. We're going to jump into our sponsorships, but we don't have sponsors because we're babies. We sponsor you instead. So we have a couple ways that we do that. One of them is through the participation award, participation trophy. Hold on, change it in the template. Participation trophy.
I did change the template. I thought already.
You're a
No,
lying whore.
it says award.
In the notes that were sent to me, it says award. Just
I'm not picking sides. I'm not picking
Yeah,
favorites.
it's a word. Because we turned 2 years old, and this is our 100th episode, we wanted to celebrate a bit by doing one of these every single week of March. So you guys have a chance to win $20 to the gaming service of your choice every single week of March. And shit, I just disappeared it on my phone. Oh, there it is.
Do I get a trophy? Because I just changed the trophy.
No.
Oh, okay.
No. So in order to enter yourself into that, this week you had to tweet, my favorite at @RespawnAimFire memory is. Tell us what your favorite memory was. There were 7 of you that participated, and most of you loved that we were going to get in a huge fight with Engaged Family Gaming. So you guys really want to see us fail.
It's not nice to beat up a family gaming podcast.
Right. So we would abstain
nice.
from that fight, which would get our asses kicked. So we would fail honorably.
Mm-hmm.
But one of you guys is going to win $20 right now. Hey Siri, pick a number 1 to 7.
A random number between 1 and 7 is 4.
4 is Dustin Hill. Actually, I think maybe he found us due to Engaged Family Gaming. I think that's right. So great, Dustin, you get to see us go down miserably and have $20 in your pocket all at the same time. I'll tweet you. And then for this week, everyone, we want to know what you want from the future of Respawn Aim Fire. So, again, I'll put up a post on Twitter. It'll be our pinned tweet for the week. I want you to say, I want from @RespawnAimFire, and then tell us what you want. Do you want video content? Do you want us to do only Game on Game show every single week? Do you want Holden to be replaced by the Michelin Man? I just talked
How
to
is
him
that
the entire
different
time.
than what's going on already?
You're talking back.
Damn.
And I'm going to change the hashtag this time because participation trophy on Twitter just brings up a ton of Donald Trump posts.
Oh god.
So instead, we're going to change it to hashtag birthday trophy because it's our 2-year birthday. So do the hashtag birthday trophy. That's how I'll find it. And then we also have hashtag thanks for creating, where we thank people who make games and all of the things that go into it. And this week we are going to thank the actress who portrayed your favorite female character in a game.
Ooh.
find out who plays that person, reach out to them on some form of media or email, and let them know, hey, thanks for making this cool thing. Finally, our barf for the month, backlog accomplishment with Respawn and Friends, is Kingdom Hearts. Again, you guys have till the end of April to play this one. Holden's already started it. I've not even bought it yet because I'm hoping if we get to the end of April, maybe we'll change our mind and I can have played something else instead.
I'll say this is where I've landed. I was going to try to binge play Kingdom Hearts before Sekiro came out. Then I realized I'd have to then wait a month and a week before I could talk about it, which means that I would just forget about the game completely. Because I played Sekiro in the meantime. So I'm just going to kind of slowly play it throughout the next few weeks, and it's going to be a really painful 2 months.
I'm going to have to binge it all in like 4 days. I'm going to hate myself for it.
You are going to hate yourself
point,
for it.
Days Gone will be out as well.
But you have a benefit, and that's that if you don't finish the game, you don't have to sing in the podcast. You have no repercussions.
So we've done barf for
I deserve this, by the way.
Now.
I deserve this. Just you could go ahead. But I deserve this. Just want to know.
We've done
I'm
16
okay with this.
different games. We play a game every month that either one of us hasn't played or both of us haven't played, or it's a classic or something like that. And then everyone in the community, the intention is they play along with us and let us know how they did it as well. And Holden, of those 16-ish games, has played to completion maybe 4 of them.
Yes, great track record.
So we now have a
25%. Nice.
25,
exactly.
25%. See how
I'm a
quick
quarter
it
of the
is?
way
played
there.
all of them, with the exception of Far Cry 4, that we both just agreed, no, we're not playing this anymore.
So I guess is that a future answer to one of our subscriber interrogatives?
So if Holden doesn't play the game to completion, he has to sing on the podcast.
Oh man,
A song of our community's choice.
So far, I finished every game since.
Since we made that rule, he's finished every game.
No, actually, I would say this is really brilliant of Chad. I told Chad, you have to come up with a punishment, because if I come up with it, it's going to be lame, and I'm just going to do the punishment every single month. So Chad had to pick one, and he happened to pick one of my biggest fears, which is singing. I just know I'll never sing. I'll never do it. No.
And the song is going to be like So Long Farewell from Sound of Music, or I Feel Pretty from West Side Story, something embarrassing.
Oh my god!
And
It's got to be West Side
fantastic.
Story. With like you got to get
That's
the clips
fantastic.
in there too.
Yep.
Okay.
Life is all right in America. You have to sing it in the accent too.
There you go.
Oh, there it is. Yeah, you got to sell it, man.
Yeah, like
Make it
convince
as
me I'm
racist
there.
as possible.
That's a great
I
idea.
wanna-
Let's offend as many people arbitrarily as we possibly can.
Oh, that's gold.
So our final part of our what do we call this? Sponsorship. Sorry, I scrolled down the page and I lost the word. You guys can, I guess this is kind of a sponsorship where you sponsor us a bit with giving us questions and shit to talk about. This is Ryan's subscriber interrogatives, where normally Ryan writes in and gives us a question to talk about. But we had 2 people this week who also submitted a Ryan's subscriber interrogative. Whew. So the first one from Ryan at SiloSword on Twitter says, what is your favorite tinfoil hat conspiracy around video games, past, present, or future? I looked into this. You don't have any?
I don't have one. I couldn't think of one.
Off the top of my head, I thought of things like the secret cow level in Diablo 2, where they're like, it's not a thing. But it was like, no, it's a cow. Or originally in Diablo 1, it was like, there's a cow level in Diablo 1, and there clearly wasn't. And then in Diablo 2, they put one in there.
Yep.
Or the old Pokemon thing from Pokemon Red and Blue, where like, if you skip SSN and then come back to it later, and you have strength, and you surf over there and push the truck, then Mew's inside the truck. I did that as a kid. Doesn't work. But then I was like, those aren't really conspiracy
He tried 5
theories.
times. It didn't work any of them.
Those aren't really conspiracy theories, though. So I Googled, and I found an article called 20 Video Game Myths, Conspiracy Theories, and Urban Legends to Celebrate Halloween from Complex.com. And I have... Oh, I thought I had 3. I guess... Oh, I do. I have 3 here that I wanted to talk about, but they're a little bit lengthy. So if you guys have something to talk about first, I want to do that, and then we'll wrap up with this.
That's a conspiracy theory?
Yeah.
I don't...
Yeah, I don't know. You brought those up, and those are like more like pranks, and like the whole thing with
Right.
Yeah.
Damn, I'm trying to remember the game publication. I think it was Game Pro. They came out with the Shenlong for Street Fighter 2. Like you had to do like all this crazy shit in the game. Then you'd unlock the teacher of Ryu and Ken, and you could fight him and stuff like that. Complete bullshit. But they put it as like a sentence in the back of the magazine in the next month's issue. So you had all these kids just dumping quarters, myself included.
God.
Oh wow, wow.
Bastards, man. Bastards.
Yeah.
I actually just had a last minute epiphany.
Okay.
I think a good example of a tinfoil hat conspiracy theory is, oh, Reggie Fils-Aimé was in this photo with Jeff Keighley, and he was wearing a Metroid shirt. Clearly, this means that the Game Awards are going to show off Metroid. Like, that would be like a tinfoil hat conspiracy. And I don't know if I have a favorite because they're always so dumb. There's always just grasping for straws. But one of my favorite ones recently was there was a patent or a trademark for Watch Dogs 3. Therefore, it's going to be a next-gen console exclusive. Or a next-gen console launch game. I'm like, no, I don't think it's going to be a next-gen launch game just because there's a trademark for the game coming up. Like, that doesn't make any sense. You're totally just grasping at straws right there. That's the only one in recent memory I can think of. It's just people getting obsessed with next-gen. If a rock falls, it's because it's next-gen. And the next-gen's coming. I think that's kind of, I guess that'd be my conspiracy theory.
I don't have a conspiracy theory. There's just things I've convinced myself of over the years.
Like Half-Life 3 will come out.
Yes, that.
Oh, God.
Like, I swear to God, in the Top Gun game on NES, you cannot land the plane. They designed it that way that you cannot land the plane.
Goose has to die.
Of that. Every time. Every time. Goose is just getting murdered over and over again.
Last minute epiphany. There is a Ocarina of Time one of these. I'm sorry, I have so many epiphanies now. In Ocarina of Time, there's a little side quest where you have to win a race against this guy who can run really fast, and apparently it's unwinnable. And people didn't know if it was unwinnable or not. And someone glitched the game. They beat the race in 0 seconds, and the runner beat them with a score of -1 seconds because it's always just one less than. Yeah,
Dick.
so it's just 1 second less. So there we go. Conspiracy theory.
Well, I've got 3 actual like tinfoil conspiracy theory things from gaming history. We'll start with the oldest of the 3. This one's called Government Mind Control and Weaponized Epilepsy.
Oh my God.
We're going in big,
Straight
right?
up conspiracy theory. Ready? Polybius was an arcade cabinet that was released in incredibly limited numbers in the early 80s. While that's not strange on its own, what was bizarre was how the game was only released in a few neighborhoods in the surrounding areas of suburban Portland, Oregon. Polybius would cause players to suffer vivid nightmares and, in some cases, suicidal tendencies. Thanks to a violently powerful strobe effect in the cabinet, players would also find themselves fighting epileptic seizures. Polybius vanished and has retired to the realm of conspiracy. Some believe the cabinet was released by DARPA, the same government agency behind MKUltra and those killer robot videos you see all over YouTube, to test response to psychoactive machines. Even stranger are reports that once a week, men dressed in black would come through and collect data stored in the game's memory. You can watch the video above to see what Polybius looked like and some of the command options available. So there was that one, where they were testing arcade cabinets possibly to be used as like weapons to cause instant epilepsy.
Cool.
Delicious.
Yep. This one's a bit shorter. This one I think everyone probably is familiar with.
Really quickly, is this why there has to be a government warning about this game might give you epilepsy?
Every damn
Government's like,
time.
no, it could really happen.
Actually.
We know it could happen.
That
We
might
did
be
it.
the origin
We did
of
it. We
that.
know.
Have the data.
We have the data. Sorry, go ahead, Chad.
I think most people are familiar with this one, the Madden curse.
Nope, never heard of it.
No?
No.
When Electronic Arts began featuring NFL stars as their cover athletes in the early 2000s, star
I have heard
players were
this one.
lining up to get a slice of that free advertising. That is, of course, until featured cover players started getting injured. For the next several years, every player that was featured on the cover got injured the following season. Sure, football is inherently a violent sport, and maybe we can leave it at that, but most NFL players are more superstitious than gypsies at a swap meet. Okay.
Based on
So the Madden
based on
curse.
Pew data results or something like that.
Madden curse.
How did they figure that one?
I don't know. But the Madden curse, that's another one. Like, if you appear on the cover of Madden, you're getting
Fantastic.
injured. There's probably someone waiting with a tire iron.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then finally, this one I think is the most conspiracy theory of all of them. Fallout 3 predicts the future. Bethesda's Fallout 3 was a marvelous post-apocalyptic RPG, but it was also capable of telling the future. Throughout the game, players pick up radio signals in the wasteland of former Washington, D.C. The function of the radio serves as a means of broadcasting old pop songs, updating missions, and generally working to build a fuller game world. The device also predicts the future. Occasionally, a series of numbers, which sounds like Morse code, will be broadcast through your Pip-Boy. The story goes that the code predicted the Deepwater Horizon oil rig disaster right down to the day and hour. They knew Mark Wahlberg was going to be on that oil rig. And they predicted that disaster.
Oh, shit.
So apparently, if you're walking around in Fallout 3 and you hear those Morse code, they're trying to tell you something. So that was my favorite conspiracy theory. Thank you, Ryan, for writing in with that question and educating me a little bit about some crazy people out there. We have 2 more subscriber interrogatives. They are related. This one comes from Dustin Hill, winner of... Right? That was the guy who won, right?
I believe so.
Yeah, winner of our participation
Number 4.
trophy.
Wins twice.
He tweeted at Respawn Namefire a hashtag Ryan subscriber interrogative for you. Again, anyone can tweet a Ryan subscriber interrogative, but only Ryan can tweet a subscriber interrogative, thanks to his name. If you had to wipe your brain of one of your barf games, what is it going to be?
I thought about this one, and I decided BioShock, but not because it's bad, because it's so good. I want to play it again with no memories of that game.
You want to go through Rapture all over again.
Ooh, that is a good game.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's a very
damn.
good game.
Now, here's a question. Would you have wiped BioShock... would you have wanted to not have played BioShock, but then play BioShock 2, which mechanically is better in almost every way? And rediscovered Rapture that way for the first time?
You're overcomplicating it. It's getting messy. We'll just remove BioShock and just stick with just the first one. Because then I'll already know technically what happens in BioShock in terms of gameplay, that kind of stuff. If I still remember BioShock 2, then BioShock 1 was
Right.
completely a downgrade. So I don't like where you're going with this, Chad.
Okay.
Just the original. Just the original.
My first thought was Metro 2033 because I did not enjoy that game at all. It was awful. But I'm actually kind of glad I played it because I know it's not good, and I did play it to completion. You're welcome. I know it's not good, and that has made me resist Metro Exodus, which I know I won't like as much as I think I will like it because that marketing is so damn good. So I'm glad I played that so it can inform my later future decisions. However, probably Deus Ex Mankind Divided.
Oh, yeah.
I did
I'd
not have a
already
fun
had
time
that
with
wiped
that.
from my memory.
I already didn't care for the series of that. Yeah,
Can I change my answer to that one? Because you're totally right.
Yeah, I didn't. I mean, that game, it was just so
I beat that one, too. That was one of the ones I
generic
beat.
and blah. You did, that's right.
Yeah. Are you guys Mankind Divided fans by chance, or just Deus Ex fans?
I'm not.
That-
I'm
Not
fascinated
really.
by the series, though. I've never actually picked one up. I look at it, I'm like, ooh, that looks like it'd be good.
That's what we
Exactly
did,
what we
too.
thought. Yep.
And
man,
it's wrong,
it was,
huh?
it was really just, oh man, I had to rush through it because I just want this to be over. I need it to be done.
my
I need it to be
God.
over, and just rush through it. Yeah, but people love that
Painful
game.
dialogue.
It's a really well reviewed game though,
Yes.
Yeah.
That's
and people love that franchise. So we're in the minority, but I'm it's one of those games I'm shocked it's as well received as it is.
Okay, so how do you guys feel about Fallout 76?
Didn't play it, but I was excited for it.
I've never been a Fallout fan, and I'm also not a multiplayer guy, so that was not a game
Preach,
for me.
man.
I'm not a Fallout fan either.
Yeah,
I like
I'm
Fallout.
in the same boat.
They're also brown. Generally
That's
don't
a good
like
way.
the color
There's
brown.
No vibrancy. Yeah.
But the vibrancy
kind of-
comes from the characters and the
Yeah.
really funny dialogue and that kind of stuff. I mean, I like Fallout 4. I'm not in love with it. I never even completely finished the storyline, but I played a lot of that game anyway. But 76 just never appealed. It didn't appeal to me after I heard how bad it was. But I was super pumped about the idea of Fallout and everyone you meet is a real person. That sounded really cool to me. And then it just obviously didn't pan out to be as successful
Yeah,
as I thought.
then it
was going to
imploded. Yep.
be. Yep.
Yeah.
If you get those Morse code beeps in Fallout 76, you
Oh,
get
shit.
them
There you
independently
go.
from what I heard.
You get better HoloLenses to...
So I just realized right now that you guys haven't played our barf games, so you can't have answers to these questions, or you don't even know what we played.
So try to guess right now which games we play. All 16 of them.
Metal Gear Solid 5.
Oh, what a good
No.
game, though! But also,
gosh.
yeah,
Not-
the story
Vanquish.
on
I haven't played Vanquish. I've heard
Vanquish.
good things about that.
that one. Oh
though.
man, I've played
I beat
a
that
good
game. It's
third of
fantastic.
it. Yeah,
I heard
Yeah.
it's a third-person shooter, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah, I've heard
Yep.
very good things about it. One of those kind of
Platinum
underrated
Games.
classics.
Very good. What other games? I'm trying to think. Barf games.
Yeah. like
There's a
that.
Zelda game in there somewhere, right? That someone didn't
We played
complete?
Ocarina of Time. Yep.
Okay.
And even though Holden's played it
Link
30
Past.
times and I played it twice.
Well, we played it because it was the 20th anniversary of Ocarina of Time.
Yep.
It was a special experience.
I'm trying to think. Backlog.
And I played Master Quest. So that was my first time playing Master Quest.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Ooh, I'm trying to think.
Just think. I'm trying
like
to think
looking
what
at-
games you guys would have played.
Yeah, I
'Cause
got
you
like
said
candy
there's
games.
16 of them. 16 of them, right?
Oh,
Doom
I actually
2016?
have the list. I can read them off to you. Let me see. I have it
I'll be
somewhere.
interested. Oh, Doom 2016 was fantastic.
Oh, such a good game.
You need to play that.
That was a good
Love
one,
that
right?
game.
Actually,
Yeah.
what was our first one? It was BioShock, right?
BioShock, and then it was Super Metroid. I have
What a dope game.
I don't have that notebook with me right now.
I forgive you.
That's the Holden writes things down.
I do write things down in notebooks.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, try
You kinda
searching
have,
that.
You kind of have that, analog writer vibe to you. I see it.
Thank
He
you.
also
Thank
owned a
you.
typewriter.
I did. I
man.
did. But when I moved around, I didn't have room to bring it with me.
Oh,
so,
man. Bummer.
Yeah, I do miss it though.
Yep. Well, we're going to move on to our second barf question real quick. Trevor replied to Dustin's question. You guys remember Trevor Bettis from our first year of the guest earlier this year. He says, I'm going to piggyback off that. What's a barf either of you have wanted to do, but don't think it would make a good barf?
So I have one that I said, hey, we should play this or barf. And Chad's like, I don't know if that'd be a good barf game because it's too short. And that's Undertale.
Oh, yeah. But you ended up playing that anyway, right?
No, I haven't.
You still haven't
finished
beat it.
No, I started playing it and then just I was in this phase of just playing everything I could possibly get my hands on, and then
Yeah.
Undertale just was in there. So I started it and I didn't get very
Game's
far.
Were you
So
going
damn
the
good.
genocide run, or are you doing the pacifist?
Oh, I was doing pacifist.
Okay.
He still doesn't know the consequences of those
I-
actions, though.
I don't
I
know the
won't
consequences of the
ruin
actions, but I like the idea of playing a game without having to kill anyone. That's a cool idea,
Yep.
and I'm curious how they handle that because it's been very funny figuring out what it's going to be that makes that an enemy, quote unquote,
Yep.
like you. I like
Right.
that dynamic. It's a lot of fun.
My answer is I actually just brought this up to Holden yesterday or the day before. I really want to make Borderlands 2 a barf. But I don't think it would work. One, because I've literally played it on 5 different platforms and beat it 100 times. But also...
So it's your Ocarina of Time.
Yeah. But also, it's one of those games that you have to play with people. It's okay by itself, but it's a fun game to play with friends. So I called him and was like, Holden, what do you think about giving us 2 months to play Borderlands 2, but we only are allowed to play it together. We have to play it online together. But just logistically, I have weekends off and you work every weekend, and then you're in school, and I don't know if it would work.
Can you use a different term other than logistics? It's making me uncomfortable.
So that's one that I would love to do, especially if we see a Borderlands 3 announcement at GDC in a few days, probably. But I don't know if it would be good.
We'll find out.
Dope!
Barfs.
So we're going to move on now to our main quest. There's a caveat that I want to put on this main quest that Holden didn't realize while we were making it, is that our main quest is going to be the rumored Google plans at GDC. This episode drops at 9 a.m. Eastern Time on Tuesday. Google's announcing their plans at noon Eastern Time on Tuesday. So almost everything we talk about right now will be either confirmed or denied already by the time you're listening to it, probably. But it's going to be fun to talk about and speculate.
To
anyway.
see how wrong
Absolutely.
we are.
Exactly. See how wrong we are. How
In
much we
hindsight, these
totally
guys didn't know
overhyped it.
shit. Oh my god, they thought that was going to happen?
What the fuck?
So Holden, I want you to run through. I think the best way to do this would be run through
Just all the stories.
all
really
the
quickly.
stories, and then we just chat afterwards.
Yeah, so this is actually going to be pretty quick. Jade Raymond, who used to work at Ubisoft, is now at Google as a VP. I did it, Chad. I did it.
I noticed.
Crystal Dynamics is going to be there, which means apparently the Avengers game is rumored to be there as well. Amy Hennig is going to be there. And then id Software and Ubisoft will have representation as well. And then allegedly, Sega is partnering with Google to make a next-gen console. That's kind of the quick rundown.
Those are two things I never thought I'd see in the same headline.
Right?
Sega next gen console.
Do you want to start with that one? Let's start with that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Sega's been out of the hardware manufacturing since when did Dreamcast come out? 2001?
1999, I think.
99 was it?
It's the Y2K proof console.
And they killed it within like a year, right?
Yeah, it was pretty quick.
So they've been out for almost
I
2
love
decades.
the Dreamcast though, man. Gosh,
It's great.
that's-
Everyone who had
VMU,
one seems to have
Take your
loved it.
Sonic Adventure Chow around with you,
Yeah.
with the VMU, and yeah.
love that console.
So, a part of this whole next-gen console with Sega is that a lot of Sega games are going to be coming to this next-gen console. Here's my thing is that Google has had a history in the past of working with third-party manufacturers to make different hardware, such as like the Nexus line of phones. Like HTC helped them out, Samsung helped them out, and it was always like, hey guys, HTC helped us make this phone. Hey guys, Samsung helped us make this phone. But lately with the Pixel line, another company might be helping them make the phone, but it's a Google phone. It is not a different company's phone. So I feel like if they did do this, Sega wouldn't really be on the hardware. And it'd kind of be more of like a after-the-fact thing. We realized that Sega was helping them out on it, but Sega's not a hardware company anymore. So I just don't know why Google would partner with them.
Right. What expertise does Sega now have on even current gen, yet alone next gen consoles that they could provide to Google?
Exactly.
Yeah, it's
So
almost
you
been
think that
20
they're
years.
just-
Is anyone still there who does hardware?
Yeah.
Are they
If
just
any-
like bringing people in for IP? Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah, I'm thinking that like they're going to have the streaming service, and maybe they're just going to have Sega games be exclusive to that for a while, maybe. Because the article made a good point that we don't know about many Sega games coming out besides that Sonic Racing game. It's pretty much a blank
That's
slate
true.
for them. We don't know much.
True. Yeah.
But at the same time, though, a few days after that story came out, a new Sonic game has been confirmed to be in development, but I don't think they confirmed any consoles for it. Let me just double check that.
Yeah, they also said that we're not going to see any details about it until next year.
Yeah, which means we're not going to see it Tuesday.
Right.
Or
Yeah.
if you're listening to this today. I'm actually going to go back to the story and find it. So yeah, I'm very, very skeptical of that. It sounds cool, and I'm sure that there's going to be a hardware component because Google's kind of getting into hardware lately, but I just don't think it's Sega.
Yeah.
Here's what the skeptic in me says. That Google's just getting a bunch of big names up there to let you know what games are going to be a part of their streaming service.
That's exactly what I'm
Yep.
thinking.
Similar
Yeah.
to like when the Wii U launched, and like remember Mass Effect 3 from 3 years ago? Remember Batman from 4 years ago?
Well,
We've got those.
They need to be able to say that we have a lot of games for you to stream.
Exactly.
Yep.
So I think Crystal Dynamics, they're going to say, we've got the entire Tomb Raider trilogy ready to go on Project Stream.
Totally.
We've got all of these Sega classics that nobody cares about anymore.
Columns.
Columns!
The
We've got Dr.
Bejeweled-
Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine ready to go.
I think we'll hear things like Doom Eternal will also be on Google streaming service, like when it comes out. Like we'll hear
Right.
those like games we've already heard about.
Yeah.
The wrench in there for me, one is that it's a lot to call all these companies out. Well, they're already going to be there anyway. It's GDC. But Amy Hennig. What is Amy Hennig doing there?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a hell of a name to be bringing out.
This is what I think that's going to be. We're happy to announce Amy Hennig's next game will be on our streaming service. Period.
Do you think...
Don't know
we
what
don't
it
know where
is.
she is, right?
No, I don't. Doesn't she have her
I
own
think
studio now that she's doing small stuff with?
That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's
Yeah.
opening up
Solo.
her own place.
Yep.
I wonder
So that
if they
game
are
might be
gonna
exclusive to Google because that's going to attract attention.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very true.
Maybe Google like bought her company. Maybe she's been open for 3 months and they are like, hey, you would be...
It's possible.
Part of
Well,
Google?
I mean, Google's got that fuck you money. It can just
Yep.
buy up
Yep.
studios and
Totally.
shit. So
Right.
why wouldn't they? Microsoft's
Or-
doing it because they know it's coming up. I'm sure Google
Yeah.
aren't idiots. I'm sure they know what's going to happen.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, that is a big name. I mean, she's
Oh, yeah.
a great female in the industry, but
And she hasn't released anything in a decade. So people are like,
that's the thing. Too.
I wanna
Like,
play
they're
an Amy
hungry
Hennig
for it. Yeah, they're hungry for it. And any exclusivity deal that Google may drop on her or bought her studio, it's going to add a lot of clout to show that to the gamers that They're serious about
Yeah,
this.
they're not playing.
Yeah.
It's not a joke.
Yeah. Well, same thing with Jade Raymond. Like, here's a nice salary, Jade. Come be a VP. Because I was kind of, as Nick liked to said, I think, Nick's told me, it's like, are you cyber stalking her? Because I would check her Twitter or LinkedIn. I'm like, where is she? What is she doing? Because I she's prominent in the industry. She, I want to see what she's up to with, the games or whatever. And then I saw that drop. And he made a comment. He's like, "There's a difference between checking in and hiding in the bushes." So, I was like, "Come on, man." But
I think either way, I'm really excited to see what Google's plans are, but not because of the games that they're going to announce. I just don't feel like we're going to see like big game announcements there. But what's exciting to me is that Xbox was announced at GDC for the first time. Like this is
that's right.
Yeah, it's like this could be the start of something really, really big. It's gonna be that's exciting.
The start with something new. High School Musical, y'all.
I don't know. I think with all the, I guess the big thing for me, it's not so much the names, just like we were saying. It's more of I just want to know the direction. Like, what are they pushing for? Are they going more the multiplayer route? Are they gonna like try to bring back old IPs, like we're talking with Sega and stuff like that? They're definitely going to be coming in hard. It's one of the few companies that could give Microsoft a run for their money right now, because they do have that fuck you money. They can throw money at Jade and be like, hey, just come hang out in the locker room for a bit. It doesn't matter. They don't care. It's not going to affect their bottom line whatsoever.
Oh yeah. And even to build on that, the fuck you money thing too, Google's one of those companies that people will go to work for because it's Google, not because you're getting paid a lot of money.
Yep.
Right.
And I think that someone like Jade Raymond coming in will have more of an influence than she might have had going to any other game company, because Google is getting started and they want Jade to be the influencer to lead this. So like there's a lot of reasons that you would want to work for a company like this, because Google's going to take it seriously and they're going to take you seriously working there.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. And what's this with Avengers game will be revealed at Google's event?
Yeah, so Crystal Dynamics, the guys who make the Tomb Raider games, the newer Tomb Raider games, I think it's known that they're working on Avengers game. It's not even a rumor. Like it's confirmed they're working on this game.
Yeah.
But we haven't heard anything about it. It's been rumored it's a next gen game. There've been lots of scuttlebutt around it. I think that the only reason, actually, even going to the article, I think they just say Crystal Dynamics is going to be there. Maybe we'll see the Avengers game. There was never like
It's one of those things that
definitive.
Every single conference that we've had in the last year has been like, oh man, it's about time to hear about Avengers, and then we don't.
Like
hear
if
about
Rocksteady were going to be there, is the Superman game going to be there? Like it was
right, exactly.
Yeah,
it's going to be that. I'm going to go to the article again though, because I'm pretty sure they worded it in a way that's just like, this developer is going to happen to be there, therefore we think this could happen.
Going back to the tinfoil hats.
Yep,
yeah,
exactly.
Yep. Yeah, I think it's a lot more likely that they're just like, hey, Tomb Raider, we've got them all.
Boom.
You got it on Xbox Game Pass, we got it on Project Stream.
Yeah, I'll read the full paragraph to you. That Crystal Dynamics is working on a Marvel licensed Avengers game is already officially known. Crystal Dynamics is working on the project in collaboration with Eidos Montreal, with plans to support it post-launch for, quote, years to come. Rumors about the Avengers game have swirled for some time now, with many expecting an announcement during the Game Awards 2018 this past December that didn't come. As exciting as an Avengers announcement would be, there's really no evidence to support the rumor beyond Crystal Dynamics' now confirmed participation in the Google's GDC plans, and feeling that the Google event will be bigger than many expect. So they have a feeling. Their gut is telling them.
It's got to be gospel.
Gut told them
it's
at
truth.
Game Awards, and their gut told them at PS Games Week, and their gut told them at E3.
Exactly. That's kind of why I read the paragraph beforehand is, so it could have been at this one, but it wasn't. But it could be at this one. Could be.
They stop eating Taco Bell before these.
Oh, but Taco Bell is so good.
So delicious.
Crunch Up Supreme, Cheesy Gordita Crunch.
Taco Bell is delicious.
Beefy nacho griller, man. That's where it's at.
Man.
So good.
So good.
They just sent me a push notification today. It said, are you looking in your fridge? Stop it. Order us to your door instead. I was like, you know exactly who you're talking to. It says, is the fridge calling your name? Don't answer. You've had a day. Get Taco Bell delivered to your door tonight.
Oh,
man.
bastards.
I have had a day.
That's like the Taco Bell
and they
equivalent of,
know.
like, you up?
Yep.
It's
like the booty call by Taco Bell.
Yep.
At 2 a.m., it's like, yo, you up? Yeah, I'll order Taco Bell.
And yeah, don't judge me. I get push notifications from Taco Bell, and I enjoy them.
I'm not. I'm
from
frustrated. I haven't
Chick-fil-A.
got it yet. It's hurtful. I'm like the side
It's
chick.
hurtful. Side chick. Side chick. Oh god.
So that's, I think,
If they don't
all
hear
the
back from
things-
Chad, they'll text you, Nick. Don't worry.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. I think that's all the things we think might be coming. But of course, again, you guys probably know more than we do at this point. So let us know your reactions
You
to all of the
future
cool new
people there in
announcements.
the future.
You future people. You watch that Hulu show, Future Man?
No.
I watched like 6 episodes of it, which was like, I think there were 7 or 8 in the season. So I
you
made a
didn't like
big
it.
commitment, but didn't finish it. I was like, it's just not that good.
It's not good, huh?
But
That's
I watched
about-
a lot of it.
Who was in that again? It was Sean Penn was in that, right?
That was the guy who played PETA, Sean Penn. What are you
Isn't
talking
Sean
about?
Penn? No?
Sean Penn?
Sean Penn, like from Milk and
Sean-
I Am Sam?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't he in? Am I wrong? I guess
No,
I'm
it's
wrong
got
because you're
PETA
laughing
from
at
Hunger
me.
Games.
Okay.
No, Sean
so
Penn
I-
is definitely not in that show.
I thought he was in that show.
Well, you look it up while I talk to these gentlemen about We Are So Fucking Humble.
I looked it up, and your laughs, that's all I needed to hear. Clearly, I was wrong.
So this is, do you guys remember right before we started the show, I said, hey, I have a 4th question for you.
Yep.
Cuatros años tienes, and then I forgot what it was. This was the question. Do you guys have something for We Are So Fucking Humble? Any articles or any topics you wanted to bring up to discuss?
Sure.
Great.
I thought of
We're
something.
going to take a back seat because we're so fucking humble, and we're going to let you drive the show for a bit.
Okay. I was thinking about this app because of the Anthem story playthrough earlier today, actually. And, you know, all the hubbub about Anthem, you know, the campaign's not long enough, there's not enough story, this, that, the other thing. When did it become an issue or an expectation for us gamers that a game would be 12 plus, 20 plus hours of a campaign playthrough? Like, when did that become a thing where it's like a game is not good or doesn't have a good story or campaign if it's not X amount of time or X amount of content?
I think it goes back to the
pinpoint
NES. Personally,
Yeah,
when we
I
started,
can't think of a time where it hasn't been that way.
Yeah, when
Really?
we started actually getting like JRPGs and stuff like that, and that's sort of becoming the standard with like Final Fantasy 2, 3, and you would sit there for 60, 70 hours. You know, it was like a $1 per hour of video game. You know, I think that kind of set the tone here in the Western market. Because I love campaign heavy games. I really hate multiplayers like you were talking about earlier. If I'm going through a game, I want to be able to like slow down, kind of like really enjoy the environment, check out what's going on with the environment building, see what's happening with the lore. And it depends on the game. I don't expect that shit out of like Contra. You know what I mean? It's just, it depends on the title. But definitely if I'm playing an RPG, if it's anything less than 20 hours, I'm kind of getting pissed off and I feel like I got gypped. That's my take, I guess.
I think that mentality does come from one with like arcades. You want to make sure every quarter you get is worth as much as it possibly could. But also, I mean, if you think about on NES and SNES, there was so much padding and grinding put into games to make them last longer so that you would play them more. And I think that definitely helped out too whenever you're like budget-wise, oh, I can only afford one game this month. Or you're a kid and you only get them at Christmas because that's when the games are released for a very long time.
Right.
Like, how do you make this game last as long as possible? So I think that has been around with video games. I actually think we've become more accepting of it since digital downloads started becoming a thing.
I was just going to say that because you can price games differently nowadays, it's not just the standard, it has to be $60 or whatever the equivalent was in previous generations. That's the less of a thing. Like you mentioned the example of JRPGs have to be 20 hours. Like if you have an RPG, it has to be that long. Well, Child of Light was a really well-reviewed game. That was an RPG. I think it was only like 10 hours or so.
Yeah, same with
Bastion. $15.
Maybe
Same with
that
Bastion. Yeah,
Ubisoft.
it was $15.
God,
Yeah.
Bastion's so good.
Bastion's very good, yeah. So I think that price has kind of changed that conversation a lot. I think the conversation now is coming more into, well, Cyberpunk 2077 is going to be this massive game that's going to be way bigger than anything else. Should it cost more?
That scares me.
I want it.
It does
Yeah.
scare me, yeah.
Yeah.
Need it.
I want it. If they charged $100 for it,
Yeah, I
I'd
don't
be like,
give a
God
fuck at
damn
this
it,
point.
I'm spending $40 more
Damn it.
on this game than I was originally going to.
Okay, well, because the one game that came to mind, going through my gaming history, was Heavenly Sword on the PS3.
Oh yeah.
Which, well, like, I remember like reading articles and stuff like that back when that was released. Like, people were just slamming it because it was only like an 8-hour playthrough, like start to finish. It's like, this game is so short, blah 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 blah. You know, you paid X amount of dollars for this. It should be longer, whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed it. So I felt I got my money's worth out of it. Yeah, it was only 8 hours, but why does it have to be longer to enjoy it? I guess that's kind of what I'm getting at. And I just wonder your guys' takes on it.
Well, I don't know. I think it goes back to content too. If they can accomplish the job effectively, if they can tell the story that they're trying to tell and bring you along for the ride effectively in 10 hours, then yeah, I think I got my money's worth. If it feels like a rushed kind of like slammed together piece of shit game, then yeah, I'm upset. I'm trying to think of a good Soul Reaver. While I love that game and I wish they would remake it, I think that's a prime example of it. It changed department heads, I think, 3 times in the course of its evolution. And you can see it. Like, story-wise, that game is a fucking train wreck. Like, you're playing, and then it feels like it completely switched focus, like a quarter of the way through. And then it switches to something else, and then it brings you back to kind of what they were doing in the beginning. But all the concepts and mechanics of it are really cool and compelling. And it's like, man, I really wish you guys would have done something better with this.
I think a big part of it too is how well it does what it's trying to do.
Yeah.
If you think of from Ninja Theory, Senua's Sacrifice, that
so
was what 6-8 hours long, I think.
Yep.
That game
Also
I'd
cheaper.
pay $100 for that game.
Yeah.
That
No, you
game was
wouldn't.
so freaking good.
That game was really good because it was $40. It's a great game, but like
It was
$40. It was 50. Okay, I think it was 40 when it first came out. Is it 15 now?
It's also on Xbox Game Pass. So
Yeah, it's also on that too.
It's just out there.
But yeah, how well it does that, and then whether or not now, back in the NES era, they used to pad it out with a bunch of stuff. But today we're less accepting of that, especially now that a lot of us have grown up and we're like, I don't have 100 hours to sink into this game. But if you think about something like Shadow of Mordor, or no, what was the second? Shadow of War?
Shadow of War.
The big conversation around that was you could pay microtransactions to speed up the things that you don't want to grind through because they're not worth. Well, I actually didn't play it, but the conversation that I read was, oh, there's a lot of padding in it to encourage you to spend that money to speed up gameplay. So,
Yeah.
I personally am of the, like, if it can be a tight 12 hours, absolutely. I prefer that over a kind of inconsistent 20-hour, 30-hour experience.
Yeah.
Like, totally. Like, South Park RPGs are the perfect one.
Yeah. Those
Perfect.
are so grindy. Oh God. Yes. That's a good game. That's a good reference. Damn.
Like thinking into like the future, like if The Last of Us Part 2 came out and that game was only 8 hours long, but it was really fucking good, I'm fine with that. If the story was really good and I feel that the characters were given good development throughout and it's a good continuation of the story, I'm all for that, as long as it was a good 8 hours and I don't feel like they rushed it through.
Yeah.
Okay.
Agreed.
I'm with you on that. Yeah, going back to Hellblade, man, that game was amazing.
That was another game that I had to... I had to tell Holden, you're playing this, but I also had to do that with money. I had to buy the game for him.
He literally bought the game for me. And at first, I wasn't liking it. It wasn't until the last 2/3 of the game I really started to like that game.
He just wasn't good at it.
Yeah, I just doesn't understand
because he didn't know you could run.
I don't think that game teaches you mechanics very well in the beginning. It was a little confusing in the beginning, but once you learn the mechanics, it's great.
Yeah, such a good game.
I was also an idiot. There's also that.
It happens, man. It happens.
Yeah. Things get the best of us
Silicone
sometimes.
is for breast implants. Silicon is for technology.
Wait, say it. I'm going to get my pen and paper one more time.
Good discussion, Evan. Good topic.
Oh, thanks, man.
Nick, did you have anything you wanted to bring up as well?
Nothing that's going to be amazing. I got nothing for you. The only question that I had, and this was one that when I read your guys' deal, it kind of popped up. I've done it on different podcasts before this one. So I guess the question is this. So at what point did we, as kind of a culture, start kind of crossing the line when we have character development and things like that, and we start getting a little bit more invested in video games visually on a visual aspect, and we start associating our personal identity with whatever the avatar that we create is? When does that kind of start becoming something that is a little bit dysfunctional, I guess? You look at EverQuest when that came out. people spent thousands upon thousands of dollars to create their characters, and when they died, that was it. Like, you couldn't log off the game or anything like that. So they came up with different safe havens, and guilds would like come up with guards that would make sure that you're okay while your character was sleeping in the game. But when people died in that game, that actually commit suicide. They ended up forming support groups and things like that. This is in the early 2000s. Very well documented, wonderful studies on it. If you're not, or if you're into that, I guess, go check that out. But so at what point do we kind of start crossing that line when we're doing that character creation, whether it's Skyrim or what's another good one where you can do an avatar? There's a lot now where you can sit there and you can spend hours upon hours upon hours putting yourself into this game, and you start getting that kind of connection to what your character is. Is there a title out there that you really self-identify with? And we can go, as superficial as saying like, oh, Master Chief, like that's my dude, putting yourself in the story. Where does that kind of start crossing the line a little bit for you?
That's a good question, because when I think back to me playing Zelda games as a kid, I just kind of said, fuck the story. I'm making my own story. Link is me, and this is what I want to do in the world. And I had that attachment to a pixelated character on screen. I think so much of it is imagination has to do with it, and how much you just imagine yourself in that character, regardless of how, graphically amazing that character might look. I don't know. That's a really good question, because it just depends on the person, I think. And someone might need PS4 graphics to actually give a shit about what that person or that avatar is doing on screen. But then, like, I can't understand why someone has an emotional connection to NES games. I really don't understand it, because I don't have that myself. SNES when that first started happening for me. But you guys started at NES, so you probably do have some emotional attachments to those 8-bit characters on screen back in the NES era. I think it's really subjective, and it depends on the person.
Yeah, talking about like creating your own story, Contra was like probably one of the biggest ones for me. There's kind of like a nonverbal story that happens, and you got like your end screen, your exit screen on it. But I don't know. I did come up with like my own like storylines, like dropping in off the chopper and like all that shit. Yeah, I'd agree, man.
I'm usually I don't enjoy character creators, and I don't like making something that's like reflective of me. I enjoy video games and film and television because I like to see stories about other people. And I'm so empathic. I'm so good at being that like I find those connections to other people. Like being able to see and experience Ellie's story in The Last of Us, I think is something that, I mean, if I had put myself in that situation, I wouldn't have felt anywhere nearly as strong as if literally a character that I made representing me went through all the same shit. I don't think I would have felt it as strongly as watching Ellie experience it through her eyes.
Okay.
I think it's because they can treat Ellie like a real person in a way that a just randomly created avatar never could. There's always like an awkwardness to animations because it's always just a character model, generally speaking, for everyone who plays the game, regardless.
That's why I also did like stock Shepard in Mass Effect.
Yep.
Just because I knew that's the one they made the animations for, so it's going to look best for that
It's going to look the best. All right. So you think that character creation actually takes you out of the story? It ruins the immersion for you then?
Yeah, it's because I'm not there personally. I'm not there to experience a good story about what might happen to me in this world. I'm there to find out about how this character is experiencing and going through everything there, which is why Holden and I very much have different opinions about Breath of the Wild.
I love that game. So yeah, to kind of piggyback off that too, I think what I don't like about character creators, because I've never thought about it in this context before, but it takes you out of that imagination for me, because I want to just get into the world the developer made, and now I have to look at this ugly face that I'm changing and going through menus to determine how much uglier this face could possibly get.
How forged should my forehead be?
But like, can you imagine if like you go in to see the next Avengers movie, and they go, okay guys, which cape did you want Captain America to have? And you start like polling the audience to figure out what the movie's going to be before you watch. No, I just want to watch the movie. I just want to get into it and figure out what the movie's going to be.
Nice.
Someone else has decided how fucking awesome that Captain America cape is going to. He doesn't even wear a cape. I don't know why I said cape.
I was going to call you out on that.
Yeah, no, thank you.
Out on that. I was like, whatever.
Yeah, no. I don't do the superhero stuff that often, so you had every right to call me out. I haven't seen Captain Marvel yet. I don't know if I'm going to.
Totally
I haven't either.
So good.
I want to see it though.
It's great.
It's great.
Nice.
You should see it.
I thought it was very
absolutely
good.
Before you see Endgame, but
Fact.
also you're definitely going to see Endgame.
Well, I'm going to see Endgame because I did really like Infinity War. That was
you watch Marvel.
was pretty fucking awesome. Infinity War was a great ending. I loved it.
So good. But back to your topic, Nick. Do you think with like, especially with the open world or MMORPGs or the larger RPGs online into that, when you create this character, do you think what they call the hero complex comes into play at all with that? Like being able to act out as the hero that they otherwise wouldn't do in real life, and they get attached to being that way more so than the actual avatar itself.
Yeah, I think we could get really super into it if you want to, like with Freudians, like id and you know your own persona and projection. I think the one that I was thinking about earlier is Final Fantasy XIV. The character creation on that's immense. We're talking down to race, sex, and like all the way like in your clothing and stuff. And people have been playing that game nonstop, hardcore. Like the guilds in that are immense, and like they'll hold like funerals. Like you can like live your entire life in this altered kind of universe, all the way through marriage to divorce. I mean, the entire gambit. And a lot of people really put a lot of stock into that. And when something fucks with that kind of that other self, it starts having repercussions in their life. But I think you can argue that point to anything. Like if you really love cars and you dump all of like your time and energy and your caring and your emotional kind of context into that vehicle and somebody keys it, like you're going to want to fucking kill them, you know? So I think that we're going to see that more and more with VR and things like that, where you can really start crossing that line. We start blurring that line into altered reality, not so much virtual reality, but as altered reality. And we can kind of start blurring that at a whim. I think that we might start seeing some repercussions with our own psyche. I'm really for it. I can't wait.
Yeah, that sounds super interesting. Well, dope. I don't know if our answers...
No, I think they're amazing.
Close to answering your question, but it was a good discussion.
No, I appreciate it. Everybody's input's valid on that.
We're going to move on to our last segment called Game On Game Show, which is Game On, our gaming show on our game show. It's a game we play on our game show called Game On.
Cue the exhibit meme.
This week we have another recurring one called Now Flesh It Out, where I'm going to give you a mashup.
Oh, man.
We've got 3 mashups. I'm going to name
like
2
this.
games in the mashup, and we figure out what that game might look like.
Oh, Jesus.
So our first one, what do you think it would look like if we mashed up Assassin's Creed with Mario Kart?
Holy fuck.
Oh, my God.
I think it would...
Right off the bat, let me tell you, I can't wait to see Luigi like sneaking up behind Wario and just slitting his throat.
Oh my God.
I was just picturing it where you just have whatever city was in that Assassin's Creed game, you just have little Mario Karts everywhere, like you can pick. So you'd be on the rooftops. You climb the rooftop. Then you have to get in the cart and just like jump from rooftop to rooftop while avoiding the guards, all the the Templars who are in carts chasing behind you, and you're just racing throughout the city. You have to throw shells at them and banana peels to get away from them.
The Templars are actually Goombas.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're all Goombas.
Yeah, no, I actually went. Yeah, I went exactly to the Mario Kart route. I was like, oh man, I want to see Ezio with like his knees up here trying to fit into one of those little bullshit cars, trying to like cruise around the track,
just like crossbowing people, taking them out.
That's amazing.
Okay, here's a badass movie you can make though. He drives off a building, jumps out of the cart, and then lands in a haystack.
Boom.
Oh, there it is. The haystack. Gotta have the haystack.
Gotta have the haystack. Yeah.
All right.
Gotta have the
Mario.
haystack.
They find his cart and they're like, "Where did he go?"
Oh shit! It's getting dark.
He just loves slitting
And then he has
throats.
to jump in a cart. And I just want these people to slit throats. That's all I want. Mario pulls out his hidden blade, slits Peach's throat, jumps in his cart, and then it's a chase scene. And then he's running out of gas or something, and he drives into a haystack. All the Goombas passing on by. They miss him. Boom.
Then he gets out, and then
he gets out, and then Toad slits Daisy's throat.
Toad stands up from like out of the crowd. He like pushes his way through. He can't slit his throat because he's too fucking short. And he does like the kidney stab with the hidden blade, and then just like walks on by. Yeah. It's like he's like, oh shit, and goes down.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so much parkour. Yeah, there's gonna be Mario Kart parkour.
Car parkour.
Carcore.
Carcore.
Hardcore. Man, oh my god.
Make it
Twisted.
transporter
That
look like
sounds
bitches.
like it sounds like a Sharknado kind of movie, like hardcore. There's gonna be 5 of them.
Yep. It's going to be great.
Terrible knockoffs of Fast and the Furious. Carcore.
Carcore. Starring Tara Reid.
Oh god.
All right. Game number 2. Your games are Turok and Pikmin.
I've not played either of those.
I've never played Pikmin.
Pikmin.
Turok.
You're just this little adorable space guy, and you
Yeah.
have little... They kind of look like... they're like little plant people in different colors. Red, blue, green. You throw them at people.
yeah.
The red ones do fire. They have like leaves on their head.
And Turok.
So
And Turok, dinosaur.
yeah.
hunter.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I know. I remember Turok.
Yeah.
I know this has nothing to do with Turok. I haven't played Turok, but I have seen the Jurassic Park movies. And in the second one,
Exactly
where
the same, man.
exactly the same thing. Both have dinosaurs in it. When they get to, I think it was Los Angeles at the end of the second movie. This is where the game kicks
New York? No, maybe it was.
in. It was an American city. You're in an American city. That's all that's important. There are people around. And you are the guy, Olimar is the character in
From
Pikmin.
Pikmin, yeah.
That controls little Pikmin. Well, he's controlling dinosaurs, and he just sends dinosaurs to like destroy buildings and eat people and stuff. And
Oh
it's
my
like
God.
a total destruction game, and you're just destroying everything.
Yes. So you
I
know how
like
you
it.
So
can
it's
like,
almost like
dinosaurs.
Rampage, except like
yeah, I'm on board with this.
Yep.
nice.
so you know
like
how
a
you can
blast.
like throw Pikmin and you can like have a bunch of them and they're like stuck to people and like
Yeah, totally.
doing damage. In the beginning of Lost World, Jurassic Park 2: The Lost World.
Oh, yeah.
There's the compies, the little tiny dinosaurs, and they're just like
Oh yeah.
death by 1,000 cuts.
Fun fact about that scene:
1,000 cuts.
that's actually the first chapter of the first book. It has nothing to do with the second.
I know. I've read the book. The fucking Jurassic Park book is brilliant. So good.
It's really good. Michael Crichton's a great writer.
R.I.P.
He's fucking
Great.
dead.
Any other ideas for
I'm just playing. I had to throw something in there. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, it was like a decade ago too. It's been a long time.
Missed that one.
Yep. Fucking dead. Great. I think we decided that one real quick. Next up, last one, Bayonetta
Fuck yeah.
and Captain Toad Treasure Tracker.
I haven't played
Fucking
Bayonetta, but I can't even imagine.
I have never played Captain Toad Treasure Tracker.
It's the one
Right
that's
off
on
the bat, I'm
demo, like
thinking-
on every Wii U in like Walmart's
I'm playing it right now. It's
or
a
Switch.
blast.
Sorry,
It's very
Switch.
charming
Captain
and
Toad,
cute. Unlike
wrapped
Bayonetta.
in hair. Hair disappears. He's naked underneath. We finally figure out what's under his mushroom hat.
It's not his mushroom tip; it's his hair.
No. You just have you just have Toadette and her pigtails. You would just like swing the pigtails.
Oh my gosh, that's pretty
There you
funny.
go.
I was
Okay.
just thinking Bayonetta would just have Toad for shoes. It's like Toad is chilling, and then she launches them off at the bottom of her shoes. You know, that crazy Japanese enemies.
Or just an extremely hard version of Bayonetta where you have to play as Captain Toad, who cannot jump, who cannot attack anything,
that would
and
be
you have to
god-awful.
beat that game.
Just throw turnips. That's it.
That's it.
But you have to have a turnip around you to pick up and throw, and you only get the one. If you miss,
That's it.
that's it. It's a very hard game.
Here's what I also want. I want a Bayonetta game.
Mario
Where you're
Dark Souls.
Bayonetta. So she has these things where she can summon for attacks, like these hair demons, and they come out of a portal, they attack, and they go back in. I want her to just be attacking, and the portal opens up, and Toad just sticks his head out and goes, "Hello!" And then just like bops him on the head with a turnip or something.
That'd be so good.
Or the opposite of that, which is you have that demon spawning ability in Captain Toad Treasure Tracker, so you don't have to pick up the turnip. You can just have a demon come in and rip that Goomba apart in a really horrific way. It's like, Mom, what the fuck is this game?
And then Toad sneaks up behind him and slits his throat.
Or if Toad goes to pick up a turnip, and what you think is hair is actually just Bayonetta, he pulls up out of the ground and starts looking at everybody.
Nice.
She just started shooting everybody in the face.
Be so good. Bazooka boots.
Boom.
All right. Thanks, guys, for playing. Now flesh it out on Game Show. that is the end of our game show as well as the end of our podcast. So what I want to do before we wrap up is say thank you so much, both of you guys, for joining us. I had a blast.
Pleasure.
Thank you for having
Holden
us.
was having a really shitty day before all of this, but he smiled quite a bit on this
I
podcast.
did. This is the highlight of the day, easily.
I want to give you guys an opportunity to plug again your show and let people know where they can find you. What do you want them to subscribe to, et cetera, et cetera. Go for it.
All right. Well, Nick and I do the Fresh Takes Gaming podcast. We live stream it every Friday on Mixer. So it's mixer.com/Fresh Takes Gaming, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. And then we have the audio portion of it on podcast services pretty much everywhere the following Monday. So that's that. You can follow us on Twitter at Fresh Takes Pod. You can follow me on Twitter at Bubdrum. That's BUBDRUM. Sometimes I game stream on Mixer as well. Same handle. Basically, if you type in BUBDRUM, you're going to find me.
I don't know how many
go through
other
all the
people you'll find.
platforms.
Yeah, that's
You're
a
going to
very
find me.
unique name.
Bubdrum. That just, there I am. Xbox, Steam, whatever. I'm there everywhere. Same name.
Dope. Nick. where can
I was
they
like,
find you?
okay. I think this is the most I've heard my first name in years. Just as like a small caveat. Yeah.
Oh, that's right. People call you O.
Yeah, people call me O. But you can find me
human
as
trafficking. You should probably stay away from O's.
This is the first time I've actually ever called him Nick.
you can find me at the DS Claw on Twitter. Pretty much everything else, Xbox, Mixer. I do my own deals there. Usually, well, my schedule got changed, but generally I am Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday throughout the week. I go live 9 p.m. Central, and I go until I get tired, which is probably about 2 a.m. Fuck insomnia. So, but if you want to find me on Twitter, I love to chat. So hit me up.
Awesome. Thanks again, guys, for joining us. Until next time.
Well, really quickly, though, we forgot.
What?
Our first episode of April is going to be our kind of E3 next-gen situation. Please just send us any predictions you have or things you want to see in the next generation, and we will read them on air.
Yep.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Until next time, here's our usual sign-off. And then he just slits her throat.